Who is the richest person to ever walk the earth? You might think of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, or maybe even Rockefeller. But none of them come close to a man who lived over 700 years ago in West Africa. His name was Mansa Musa, the emperor of the Mali Empire, and his fortune was so vast that it reshaped entire economies. In today's money, his net worth is estimated at over $400 billion, making him the richest human being in recorded history. But here's the real question. How did he do it? Mansa Musa rose to power in 1312, inheriting the throne of Mali, one of the most powerful empires in Africa at the time. The Mali Empire was already rich in natural resources, especially gold. But under Musa's rule, wealth wasn't just accumulated, it was multiplied. He understood something about money that even modern billionaires apply today. True wealth isn't about what you spend, it's about what you control. Before we dive into the lessons, picture this. The Mali Empire during the 14th century controlled nearly half of the world's known gold supply. Imagine one kingdom having that much influence over the world's most valuable commodity of the time. Gold wasn't just a shiny luxury item back then. It was the backbone of international trade, power, and status. Whoever controlled gold controlled wealth. And that was Mansa Musa's greatest advantage. Lesson 1. Control of resources. Mansa Musa's first wealth secret was resource control. His empire sat on massive gold mines, particularly in the Bambouk and Wangara regions, making Mali the single most important supplier of gold to Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. But it wasn't just luck. Musa didn't squander this advantage. He centralized control of gold production, trade routes, and taxation. By ensuring Mali had dominance over gold and trade, he secured something we would now call a monopoly. Think about modern companies like Saudi Aramco with oil, or tech giants like Apple and Google with digital platforms. When you own the supply, you dictate the terms. Here's the lesson. In today's world, wealth often comes from identifying resources or industries the world cannot live without, and finding a way to position yourself at the center of it. It doesn't always have to be physical resources like gold or oil. It could be data, technology, or even specialized knowledge. Mansa Musa teaches us that the first step to building unshakable wealth is not simply chasing money, but controlling the foundation upon which money flows. But Musa didn't stop at controlling gold. He knew wealth was only as powerful as the influence it created. And in 1324, he set out on a journey that would make him a legend across the globe. A journey where he spent so much money that he broke economies. The pilgrimage and wealth as influence. In 1324, Mansa Musa decided to make the pilgrimage to Mecca, a religious duty for every Muslim known as the Hajj. But Musa didn't travel like an ordinary pilgrim. No, he traveled like the richest man in the world. Imagine this, a caravan stretching for miles across the Sahara Desert. Tens of thousands of soldiers, officials, and attendants marching with him. Hundreds of camels loaded with supplies, and most importantly, gold. More gold than most nations had ever seen at one time. Historical records describe Mansa Musa's caravan as including 60,000 men and 12,000 slaves, each carrying gold bars, along with 80 camels carrying hundreds of pounds of gold dust. To the people who saw it, Musa's pilgrimage wasn't just a journey. It was a moving treasure chest, a spectacle of unimaginable wealth. As Musa traveled through Egypt, he gave away gold to the poor, gifted it to rulers, and spent lavishly on goods and services. It was generosity on a scale the world had never witnessed. But there was a problem, or perhaps a hidden lesson. By spending and distributing so much gold in Egypt, Mansa Musa unintentionally caused inflation. The sudden flood of gold devalued the metal, and the Egyptian economy struggled for more than a decade to recover. Imagine being so rich that your vacation disrupts an entire country's financial system. And yet, Musa didn't see this as a mistake. He saw it as a way to put Mali on the map. Because after his pilgrimage, the name Mansa Musa spread like wildfire across Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe. His empire, once a regional power, now had a global reputation. European mapmakers began placing Mali on their charts, marking it with a golden crown to symbolize its wealth. Lesson 2. Wealth as influence. This brings us to Musa's second wealth secret. Wealth is not just money, it is influence. Mansa Musa understood something that's still true today. People don't remember the numbers in your bank account. They remember the impact you create with your wealth. By giving gold, building relationships, and showing generosity, Musa turned money into power, reputation, and lasting influence. Modern billionaires use this principle too. Think of how Bill Gates or Warren Buffett pledged billions to philanthropy. It's not only about generosity, it's also about legacy, influence, and shaping global perception. Money that circulates strategically creates more opportunities than money that sits in vaults. Here's the lesson. Don't just see money as something to spend on luxuries. See it as a tool to build relationships, networks, and reputation. Wealth without influence disappears. But wealth that builds influence multiplies. And Mansa Musa didn't stop at making Mali famous. When he returned from Mecca, he invested in something far more powerful than gold, something that would outlast him and shape Africa for centuries: knowledge. Knowledge, legacy, and final lessons. When Mansa Musa returned from his famous pilgrimage, he had achieved two things. The entire world now knew about Mali's wealth, and he had cemented his place as a living legend. But Musa wasn't satisfied with just being known as the man with endless gold. He wanted to build something that would outlast him. So instead of hoarding his treasure, he began pouring it into cities, culture, and education. And the crown jewel of his vision was the city of Timbuktu. Under Musa's rule, Timbuktu transformed into one of the greatest centers of learning in the medieval world. He invested in building mosques, libraries, and universities. The most famous was the University of Sankore, which attracted scholars, poets, architects, and traders from across Africa and the Middle East. At its height, Timbuktu held over 400,000 manuscripts, covering subjects from astronomy and medicine to law and philosophy. In a time when much of Europe was still emerging from the Middle Ages, Mali was flourishing as a hub of intellectual and cultural progress. Why is this significant? Because Musa understood that gold can run out, but knowledge multiplies. By investing in education and culture, he ensured that Mali's legacy would last beyond his own lifetime. Lesson 3. Investment in knowledge and legacy. Here lies Musa's third great money secret. True wealth isn't just what you accumulate, it's what you build for the future. By using his wealth to create centers of learning, Musa gave Mali something more powerful than money: influence over minds, culture, and history. Even centuries later, Timbuktu is remembered not just for its gold, but for its knowledge. Modern billionaires know this too. Tech entrepreneurs often invest in research, innovation, or space exploration. Not because it makes them richer immediately, but because it ensures their names and their impact echo through history. The lesson is clear. If you want wealth that lasts, invest in things that outlive you. Build systems, knowledge, or institutions that continue to grow even when you're gone. Mansa Musa also understood the importance of diversification. Mali wasn't just rich in gold, it also thrived on salt, agriculture, and its strategic position along the trans-Saharan trade routes. This balance made the empire resilient, even when one resource fluctuated in value. For us today, the lesson is timeless. Don't rely on a single source of wealth. Multiple streams of income and diversified investments provide security, stability, and long-term growth.